Hello and welcome to another video by Rick Miracle. My new series in the year 2020, the year 2020 Rick Miracle Report. This is number 15. Number 14 was interesting. The mystery religion of Babylon. The pursuit of a global world order, destroy Christianity, destroy the Islamic peoples, Muslims, Buddhists, Hindus, Zoroastrianism. What is this mystery religion? And these people who control our world, what do they control? The Pentagon, the militaries, 5G, microwave towers, biological weapons, weather control, TV programs, newspapers, school systems, stock market, the economy, hospitals, pharmaceuticals. Seems like they control everything. So I'm going to talk about this again. 5G crisis. Edited or hosted some 1 hour plus minus YouTube programs a couple months ago, for 42 of them actually, in this big thick book. Josh Del Sol, so you can look him up. Look up 5G on YouTube, watch some of the videos. Awareness and accountability, 5G. You see these popping up every few hundred feet everywhere. Cities, rural areas. And apparently Elon Musk has been contracted to put up 20 or 30,000 satellites to provide the world with Wi-Fi, wireless, microwave, energy everywhere. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't want to go stick my head in a microwave oven and turn it on. So there's this big thick book with all the interviews. Everything is in writing in here. What the people said. Thought I'd just look at some of the names in here and the titles of the guest who Josh Del Sol hosted. Dietrich Klinghardt, MD, PhD, Best Protection from EMFs and 5G. Larry Gust, Safeguard Your Home from 5G. Terry Stoned, Stotyn, I apologize for mispronouncing some names. Eliminating Dirty Electricity from Your Home. Wolfgang Jask, Jaksch, PEMF Technologies for Healing. Identifying the different types of EMFs, electromagnetic frequencies. Dana Ashley, Solutions for a Toxic Agenda. Jerry Day, Smart Meters and Their Hidden Agenda. Theodore Soroto, Local Government and Community Actions. How the federal government agencies have failed us. Sharon Goldberg, Science About Wireless and 5G. Kevin Motas, Complete Regulatory Failure for 5G. Raphael Mahim, M-A-H-A-I-M, Regional Governments Standing Against 5G. Trevor Marshall, PhD, Debunking 7 Myths About 5G. Unacceptable Risk from 5G. All coming to your neighborhood. You're going to be microwaved right in your home, right in your bed, right in the school. Your animals. Squirrels, birds, bees. All right, next page. Guess I went to the second page first. Robert Kennedy Jr., Dangers of 5G to Children's Health. Martin Paul, How Wireless Causes Harm. Magna Havas, PhD, Extensive Biological Effects of EMFs and 5G. Derva Lee Davis, PhD, Science on 5G and Wireless Radiations. Jason Baden-Smith, Critical Disruption of Mitochondria by EMFs. So apparently these electromagnetic frequencies can mess with your cells in your body, your mitochondria. Paul Heroux, Heroux, PhD, Harmful Effects of 5G and Wireless. Patrick Wood, The Agenda for Total Control. James Colbert, Implications of Surveillance Capitalism. David Greenfield, PhD, Addicted Society, Total Addiction and 5G. Saya J, 5G and the War on Consciousness. Max Egan, 5G and the Spiritual Crisis of Humanity. Paul Silas, 5G and the Total Global Surveillance. Are you concerned yet? These are experts, PhDs, doctors, professionals. Raymond Bloomhall, How 5G Sites Are Being Blocked and Removed. Susan Manowich, Emergence of New Energy Technologies. Joe Martino, Discerning, Dissolving Social Engineering Traps. Olga Sheen, 5G versus Your Inner Authority. Stephen Wybrow, The Inner Challenge of 5G. What is the 5G Ultimate Endgame? Deborah Green, PhD, Changing the World with Inner Resources. Richard Lear, Root Causes of Chronic Disease Epidemics. Martin Paul, 5 Most Critical Areas of Harm. Tom O'Brien, Wireless Radiation. Beverly Rubach, PhD, Effects of Wireless on the Human Biofield. Ty and Charlene Bollinger, Informed Consent, Who Owns Your Body? I don't have to read these articles, I just read the titles. Tim Sanders, EMF and the New Paradigm Physics. 42 of these speakers. Let's see, a couple more here. Raymond Broomhall, The Legal Action Process. Timothy Schoeder, Schoechle, however you say that. Communities using fiber optics instead of 5G. Cece Dolcete, Doucette, Protecting Our Children. Patrick Colbeck, Keys in the Fight for Justice. Claire Edwards, Unlocking Hidden Potentials of the 5G Crisis. Dietrich Bros, Building Local Community to Resist 5G. So how are you going to resist this? How are you going to resist this? Seriously. The towers are going up everywhere. You're going to be microwaved in your home. Your kids, the dog, the cat. And you can look this guy up on YouTube and watch some videos. Big, thick book. You can go buy the book. So my point is, it seems we're under attack. It does seem that the communists have infiltrated the United States and are in league with the Zionists and the Freemasons, Illuminati banking systems, and they're preparing for something huge. And they are also seriously into AI, artificial intelligence. So it doesn't even take a human to make a decision, assuming that they decide to switch to a different app, a different program, to accelerate the global world order. In other words, step it up and turn it on. And people already in the system that deemed a threat to the new Luciferic satanic world order could be targeted invisibly all at once. Crazy. So I was reading the Contact magazine here. We are moving into the neck of the funnel. Published from 1990 to 1999, 10 years. You can get them free at the Phoenix Journal's sites online, 4winds10.com or the Phoenix Project or the Contact Phoenix magazines. And they're all free PDF, 80, 90, 100 pages each. Over 1,000 of them. They were published almost every week for 10 years. And there's just so much information in here. It'd take me all year just to try to get a tidbit of this out there, hopefully in time for we the people to take action and protect ourselves. All I can do is make these 30-minute videos, and hopefully people will pick up on it, go do some homework. You can forget about me, I don't care. But go to the Phoenix Journals, go to many of the other books I've read, the Encyclopedia Judaica, published in Israel. Read their own information that their religion is the Kabbalah. And then look up Kabbalah witchcraft, Kabbalah magic. It's all tied together. The demon god Moloch, Baal, the little owl on the front of the dollar bill, the demon god Moloch. The owl at the Bohemian Grove where our leaders meet, throw a baby in the fire called the cremation of care. A giant owl, Moloch. Jeremiah in the Bible, sending down the king Nebuchadnezzar, probably saying his name wrong, from Babylon to destroy Jerusalem and destroy the temple. In Jeremiah, in the Old Testament, in the Bible, only a few pages, you can read it. Because the religion they were practicing in the King Solomon's temple, they were sacrificing their sons and daughters to the demon god Moloch. And they're doing it now. So I'm going to pick up where I left off last time. Just start reading and throw in my 2 cents. And like I said, make a 30-minute video. All right. Says here, interested readers may want to send for the U.S. Global Strategy Council's complete project proposal on the subject, non-lethality, development of national policy and employing non-lethal means in a new strategic era, prepared by Janet Morris. I did look it up online. You can find that document if you Google it. So these they considered non-lethal means, microwaving you. And the AI, artificial intelligence, able to probably transmit microwaves or laser beams at anybody deemed a threat to the global world order, to the Luciferic, satanic demon gods, and destroy Christians, etc. I wish you could make this stuff up, but you can't. You can go look it up. It's all verifiable. All right, moving back to this document. Bioeffects and microwave radiation. Research into the biological and psychological effects of exposure to microwave radiation is voluminous. Volumes and volumes. This is back in 1993, this Contact magazine. They were published in the Contact magazine from 1990 to 1999, 10 years. And this is 2019, all these shows on YouTube hosted by Josh Del Sol, all these professionals. So all this is very real, and it goes back to 1993 and before, part of the technologies that Hitler was into. And after World War II, the people who control the United States, etc., Britain, France, all these countries, went over there and confiscated all those technologies and books and drawings, and continued on with the research Hitler was into, experimenting medically on people, horrific experimentations. So, research into the biological and psychological effects of exposure to microwave radiation is in volumes. The U.S. public has been led to believe that the former Soviet Union leads in this research. The fact is, the CIA and the Department of Defense have jointly pursued precisely the same research since the commencement of the Project Pandora in the 1950s. Project Pandora. They were experimenting on humans in our hospitals here in the United States, cutting out pieces of their brains, shutting off all access to sight and hearing, and zapping them with electronic probes, electrical energies, horrific. LSD drugs and other things, cutting off parts of their body, taking out their eyes, their ears. Project Pandora. If you go look it up, you're going to be shocked. And they control, the people who are pursuing a global world order, these same people control all of this stuff now. The current primary uses of this research appear to be the CIA, the DOD, the National Security Agency, NSA, and the Department of Energy, DOE. Wonderful. our own government, our own leaders. And of course, all the propaganda and mind control and drugs, opioids and everything else, and LSD and marijuana, and all of this, they've been feeding the public to get everybody drugged up and mind controlled to this new age material. And it appears to be luciferic and satanic. And this is some of their weapons by all the professionals. The Walter Reed Army Hospital Institute of Research, WRAIR, has participated in this research since Project Pandora. In 1973, WRAIR discovered that externally induced auditory input could be achieved by means of pulsed microwaves, audiograms, analogs of spoken word sounds. So in 1973, they figured out that they could pulse waves, boom, 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 and put a carrier signal on those waves, and you would hear voices in your head. Just saying. All right. The effect on the receiving end is the schizophrenic sensation of hearing voices, which are now part of the recipient's own thought processes. So people can be induced with these voices that they think is their own. They think it could be God, it could be a demon, and it could drive them crazy. They become schizophrenic. Now, does it seem that my own transmissions to Dharma, so the Contact magazine apparently has some telepathic transmissions sent to some of the employees of Contact magazine, just to be fair and balanced and tell you where some of this material comes from. And Hanton telepathically communicates with Dharma, who works for Contact magazine, and critiques the information in these articles. And it seems that through my own transmissions to Dharma, and he's critiquing something now, Wokini are strange and impossible. So Hanton is saying, some people think that it's strange and impossible that I can telepathically communicate to Dharma for Contact magazine when the government is into these technologies themselves. So it's not strange at all. It's part of natural physics. The big difference is that she receives a very organized and reasonable set of pulse patterns, which are represent language needing translation, for which she has been programmed to decipher. So there are a lot of people into channeled material these days making videos, but I always like to say, who are they communicating with? The good guys or the bad guys? The good four-dimensional beings, God's world, or the fourth dimensional beings cast out of heaven into some other dimension, demonic fallen angels, archons, whatever, called, oops. Sorry about that. I do have a day job. Have to make a living somehow. But back to this discussion. So Hanton, apparently of the Galactic Federation, telepathically communicates with Dharma of Contact Project, and lots of other people all over the planet send information to these people of the Phoenix Project, sharing them bits and pieces of the knowledge they know. Like I said, they publish these magazines every week, 100 pages, so a lot of people all over the planet are submitting information, and some of it Hanton edits or discusses with Dharma, and they publish Hanton's input as well as the other people who send in these documents input. And I like to read it and go research and find out more about what they're saying, to find out if it's all a bunch of baloney or is it true. And it appears, to my research, it's all true. And so he says it's not crazy that I can telepathically communicate with Dharma when the government is into these pulsed transmissions that can make people hear things and drive them crazy, and they are accused of being a schizophrenic, and they get in mental institutions where then they start doing crazy medical operations on them, killing them, making them mentally retarded for the rest of their life, brainless, some people dying. And these people apparently are a part of the people who control our military, the Pentagon, the government, the presidents, and involved in the demonic satanic religions bent on destroying Christianity and other religions. These are the tools at their disposal. That's my point. All right. So, reading on this article, it's not only not magic or channeling from some 64,000-year-old crackpot, E.T., but is a reasonable and very logical. So communicating with these entities from the fourth dimension apparently is logical. And I suppose communicating with the demonic fallen angels could be logical also. And apparently Earth is quarantined from the rest of the universe, and the evil beings are among us, whether in the third dimension or the fourth dimension. If you want to know who the secret societies are worshiping and using to do their dirty deeds, decadent, perverted desires and wealth and control and murder and so much more, it's crazy. I agree. No argument there. Back to the article. Yes, indeed, any kind of message can be transferred, and therein lies the reason for so many Judas goats in the business of channeling. They are receiving and translating the inputted information of the adversarial troops themselves. So my translation is, some people can receive telepathic information from the God world, good angels, Michael, Gabriel, etc. And some people can get into these satanic, Luciferic, Baal, Moloch worship and religions and use certain kinds of magic, geometry, symbols, and rituals involving sacrificing humans and blood, drawing circles and candles, etc., to communicate with the evil beings that are apparently among us, and are in cahoots with installing all of these technologies without the public input, knowing full well it's quite dangerous, unavoidably dangerous, microwaving people and programming their brains. The experiment prompted the following comment in The Body Electric, Electromagnetism and the Foundation of Life by Robert Becker, MD, and Gary Selden. Such a device has obvious applications in covert operations designed to drive the target crazy with voices or deliver undetectable instructions in a programmed assassin. We're in trouble. This research has continued, and the results are published in various publicity available scientific and technical journals. Interested readers might consult, for example, Lynn James, L-I-N, Electromagnetic Interaction with Biological Systems. I did look up on the internet Lynn James, or James Lynn, L-I-N, Electromagnetic Interaction with Biological Systems, and you can find his information on the internet. Professor Lynn, then with the Department of Bioengineering, remember this is 1993, University of Illinois, Chicago, has published a number of books and articles on the subject. I believe I ordered one of his books recently. He has recently informed us that he had designed the experiment referenced in Dr. Becker's book. And Dr. Becker wrote a book, The Body Electric. You can find that on used book sites, Cheap Books, Alibis Books, Abe Books. And get the books yourself and read them. I just like to make these short videos and introduce you to these conversations, these topics. And maybe people will wake up, copy my videos, send other people to the links. Do some research yourself, make a video yourself, get active. WRAIR has more recently been studying the biological effects of exposure to high-powered microwave radiation. WRAIR presented a paper on this subject to the Department of Defense sponsored symposium on microwave weapons at the Navy Postgraduate School in Monterey, California in mid-1989. So the Army is using this as a weapon. They're planning on a global world order. They expect resistance from the people. And they have weaponized our cities and streets with all these microwave towers. And they don't even have to have humans paying attention. It's all AI. They can detect what you're saying and zap you without any interference from a human. Once they turn the artificial intelligence computer system on, like you see on TV, the advertisements for Alexis or Siri, these things are listening to you and me through our TVs, our refrigerators, our cell phones, our computers, our cars, on the city streets where we walk. Cameras are recognizing who you are when you walk in a store. Many places now, when you walk in a store, they'll greet you by your first name. They know who you are. I guess it promises to be a really interesting revolution, this worldwide revolution. I'll say 6 billion people on the planet. 3 billion don't want to join the satanic Lucifer cults, the devil. And the other 3 billion apparently have been brainwashed and like the drugs and all the other perverted, decadent activities, and put those two forces to be killing each other, like all the movies they make, like Mad Max and so many more. All right, back to this crazy stuff. A matter of interest to us is why WRAIR should be experimenting with auditory effects of pulsed microwaves audiograms. So why would our military, the Air Force, the Army, CIA, FBI, all these groups experimenting with putting voices in people's heads? I guess the answer is rhetorical. They're very evil entities. They don't want the public to know anything until it's too late. Also, recent statements by an Army psychiatrist assigned to the Walter Reed Army Medical Center, WRAMC, suggest that WRAIR may be experimenting with select psychiatric inpatients with microwaves. This, too, is a matter of interest to us. Can you imagine back in 1993, this is the discussion going on. A lot of people were getting these magazines, and they were dealing with a lot of problems from the government and lawsuits and espionage. Computer systems were being stolen or damaged or interfered with. Back in the 90s, before the year 2000. All right, a little more here, a couple minutes. Since there are other matters to attend presently, allow us to close this portion. I would ask that you readers pay close attention and reread if necessary. We are moving right along into the ultimate manipulation of a planet, and insight is all that can save your sanity and hide. Insight is all that can save your sanity and your hide, your life. Next chapter here on another video I'll make, microwave harassment and mind control experimentation, congressional oversight, 3/31/1993. So you can go find these contact magazines. I just printed out 3 of them, about 100 pages each. And I've been making videos on some of these articles. Just did one on the Mystery Babylon religion that they're trying to bring the world and rebuild King Solomon's temple, which worships the beast, mystery religion. And this other one here, the real war is on the mental battlefield. The Year of the Patriot. I was making videos on this section. UFOs, the Grand Deception, and the Coming New World Order. And I've got these other books here, just closing up this video. Psychic Dictatorship. Psychic dictatorship. Alex Constantine. Tomorrow's weapons. General Rothschilds. The demon family themselves. The American deep state. Even Donald Trump says there's a deep state controlling things from behind the scenes. The attack on democracy, Wall Street, big oil, banks. They control everything, including these cell phone towers. And it all is very real. And an occult invasion. That's why it's all after the religious people. The subtle seduction of world and church. Dave Hunt. Mass control, engineering, human consciousness. Jim Keith. Good and evil spirits and their influence on humanity. Rudolf Steiner, famous man. Torture in ashram. Microwave weapon menace. Prem Nimbyar. People all over the world are trying to get people to wake up to this. Thank you for watching my video. I appreciate it. Leave a comment, thumbs up. Forward the videos to other people. Get the word out.